Hello.
Hello, cheers.
Your
Howdy.
your pint like zoned out then. It was like pixelated. It was like lost. Look at
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's beer. Is it a Vagabond?
No, it's not actually.
What is it? Australia.
I'm not going to say what it is.
Could
Yeah.
be.
Product-
What are we
product
guessing?
placement.
Or your product
Yeah,
placement?
yeah, yeah. I'm not. Advertising that company's beer.
What is
Other
it?
beers are
San
available.
Miguel.
I won't say
Stella.
it.
It's Stella.
Keep guessing. No, it's not.
Is it Bud?
No, we could be here for a long time.
Um,
Peroni, gluten free.
Did
I should have gone. I should have gone there. Should have gone there.
We should have
It's
gone
not
there.
beer.
Way.
He just pissed
Didn't
in
go
the
there.
cup.
What's that?
I stuck it here. So everyone's favourite subject. Gig memories, but funny ones. Not when you had a good time, like when you've had a funny time or like a crap time.
Most of my scenarios involve just a little bit too much alcohol.
That's a lot of the time. That's what happens. A lot of the time you get, especially if like alcohol's
Fred just went. Fred hadn't thought of something, and then I said that, and then he thought, "Oh, yeah."
That's what I mean. The
Then you saw
fuel,
his little head go.
absolute fuel.
Come on, you must have some. Like, obviously, when you guys went over to like Europe, and that you must.
Oh,
have some
it's so
weird
many.
stuff.
It's so many. There's too many. Like the ones I instantly go to are the European ones because
Wasn't there one with like electricity or something?
the first gig of the tour, the first gig of the European tour, was it? I think it's called La Casa de Par. It's like this little. I think it's a place called Glons. I think I might be completely wrong.
They were still smoking inside.
They're smoking inside, and I went outside for a cigarette because I couldn't smoke inside. There was that much smoke.
And everyone was looking around at you like.
Yeah, they were
"What is
like,
it?"
"You can go inside to smoke." I'm like, "No, I'm out here. I'm fine."
It's
I was
not-
getting
this is not
offered.
natural.
I had
It's
a
not
guy
natural.
chain smoking in front of me, and he was just he was lighting cigarettes for me and then just giving them to me. And I didn't know where to put them. So you know when you put
On the
when you put
floor.
the cigarette, when you lodge the cigarette into the neck of your guitar, just past the nut,
Oh God!
you just leave it there.
What guitar is?
He thinks it's fucking Flea.
Is it Flea?
No,
Slash.
it was Slash.
That's just
Slash, yeah.
Slash does it.
Whacking it in.
Yeah, but I did that, and he kept giving me these cigarettes because I asked him for one once, and then after that, I just broke the seal with him, and he just kept giving me cigarettes.
But
As soon as I finished one, he gave me another, and I was like, "Fuck, mate! Like, yeah, I seriously, I can't do anymore." And he just kept
I
lighting.
can't remember his name, but he's such a lovely
You
guy.
weren't playing at the time, though, were you?
It makes me
Right,
feel sick
go on.
thinking about this
Right,
moment.
right, start from the beginning. Start from the beginning.
So we turn
Well, it's
up.
because the electricity was fucked.
It's so bad. This story is so bad.
Go on, go.
So you think you're excited because your first European. I've played the place before, right? And it's a homely place. Okay, it's in the middle of nowhere. But if there's a music like event happening, everyone shows up. Okay,
That's cool, man. I wish there was more places like that.
It
Over
was
here.
nice.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So we're sound
There's
checking.
loads of people.
We're sound checking. We're Ed's
Yeah.
got his drums up. Fridge.
Shout out to
We're all
Ed,
plugged in. Yeah, 100%. And
Carry on.
I go to test the mic and just get electrocuted. Like it's not even static. Like generally just get electrocuted.
You could
So
see a blue
I'm just like,
mic to his mouth.
what's going on? Like
Really?
I'm not going up to that mic again, and this is the first show. What's happening? And then everything starts
First
happening.
show, first sound check. You haven't even said anything. Like you haven't
No.
sung into the mic yet. You haven't even said a testing
No,
yet. You're
nothing.
literally
I went to
just come out
it.
your mouth.
Yeah.
He hasn't even tapped the mic like doof, doof, doof. He's just gone his mouth.
It's a good
near
job
to
he
it.
didn't
They-
tap the mic.
I can't even explain to you how I was in my head. I was thinking, what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Straight away.
And because it's a different country as well. So I'm going up to our promoter, Jess. I'm like, I'm getting electrocuted by the mic. And she's like, okay, I'll go up to the like owner, and then it went to the owner. And he was like trying to sort out. It's like I should be fine now. I'm not going up to that microphone.
Was there any point that you thought to yourself that this is just how it is in like, was it in France?
Oh, it's in
Was it in
Belgium.
France? Belgium. So you just and you were like a little bit worried that you were just being a wuss, and they were like, "Oh, get on with it."
Yeah, a bit of static. It's a bit of static.
Over here.
No, that was me and Ed going.
Yeah, they were like, it's probably just static.
Just static, mate.
Static.
Yeah, we just thought it was just static.
And because I was going, no, I'm not going anywhere at the microphone. I've been electrocuted. And I think they just thought it was like a bit of static or a bit, you know, when you get like them, like.
Yeah, no, I've had like static shocks from a microphone before, but I'm sure you can tell the difference between.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I didn't buy it, and then I saw it. Yeah. I saw this electric, like zap, go from the mic to his lips. And then, I felt it as well. Because I was starting to feel it when I did the same thing.
You can feel it through your guitar as well. I was like, regardless of how much I wanted to play the show, because I felt like you know, you like people are there now. There's people there. Like there's probably like 30 people in there ready now.
If
before
anything,
you've even played.
More people at that gig than you ever get at home at a gig.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Before, and there was more when they were meant to play, and we couldn't play. Because I was getting electrocuted. So what we had to do, this is what the worst thing, I went outside for a cigarette during the whole, like, them trying to sort shit out. I remember going outside, like, again, smoking outside because it was too smoky inside. I was thinking to myself, this is the first day of the tour. What the fuck? Like, I can't go back home and go, we've cancelled the tour because we get electrocuted. So I went back inside, still nothing. So we just to kill this story off right now, because it needs to be, we went to play, we decided in the end, we play, and I am in the crowd singing at the people's faces.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so generally, we play for an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh no, Ed had to get out the brushes so that the drums would be lower.
Oh man!
No way!
And I had to turn the bass way down so that your voice could. And I think we pulled it off because
maybe two songs
as best as we could. No, I think we pulled it off as best as we could.
At the end of the day, we're all alive. We got paid, and people still bought some CDs. But the next day,
I was coughing.
I was like messaging Phil Bashford, who saved that tour, and he probably doesn't know it, but he saved it. I messaged him. I was like, "Dude, what can I do?" It was like, either buy an Axl Rose, a little like foam thing for the mic. I was like, that's not going to do it. That's not going to do it. It's like, you need to find a wireless mic. So I went to a music shop in the centre of Liège the next day and just bought like €130, like the cheapest wireless microphone, and it sorted the rest of the tour out perfectly.
Shout out to Phil Bashford.
Yeah, shout out to Phil Bashford. You saved my life and you saved that tour. So, yeah.
And also prevented me from doing backing vocals because we couldn't afford another.
Yeah, we couldn't afford any more mics, so it was just me singing.
That saved the tour twice, didn't it, really?
Yeah.
Well, wait a second.
I mean, it's spared.
Jamie doesn't get electrocuted, Fred doesn't sing. Win-win, really.
It spared all those poor people from having to hear me doing backing vocals.
Yeah. That's just one.
You going?
The only thing I was going to ask, just one last thing before you knock that one on the head. Do you think that it was? What do you think it was?
It was the voltage. We didn't have any converter, so we're literally plugging our amps, 240 volts. Yeah, it's our fault, 100% our fault. It wasn't.
You should have done a little bit of the old Google beforehand.
Yeah, 100%. It was try and error that could have died. Ben, have you got any funny gig stories?
I mean, I guess so.
I've been to gigs where I found them funny, and it's at one of your gigs, the fact of what happens.
Okay, so I don't know if you can probably say something about a gig that you've been to of mine that was funny after, but one of the ones that makes me cringe the most is probably a gig that we did at the Reigate ex-servicemen's. Were you at that gig?
Yeah, I was there.
So it was my birthday, and I started off drinking pretty early, which was a pretty big mistake.
A normal thing.
Yeah.
Was I in the band at the time?
This was We Come First, I think. First.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're going back a long time ago.
Like 9 years? 8, 9 years?
7 maybe.
Okay.
Something like that. But the one thing that was the worst is obviously I'm drinking. I'm thinking it's fine. I've got my amp set up. I'm ready to go. You know, it was pretty, like, it was sort of just like 3-chord heavy punk. So I know that all I have to do is plug in and play. So I'm drinking gins. And then just before the band before us goes on, the guy comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, I need to borrow your amp." I'm not going to say no, obviously, that's fine. I said, yeah, fine, borrow it, it's fine, go. And then just before we're about to go on, I'm absolutely plastered. And then I've gone up on stage. Well, it wasn't stage, actually, it was just the floor.
The floor, still.
I've gone up onto the floor and and all of the settings have changed. But at this point, I'm so pissed I can't even figure out what treble means. I don't know what treble means.
Fuck you.
I can just picture you there, just like.
It's like set to like some metal like gent. Like.
It was. They were like some, and that's another thing about the genre thing.
I've got a funny story about this story, real quick. You might have forgotten. The metal band before you, they won't be watching this, but I remember the guitarist was a massive guy. He was so big that he made his guitar look tiny. And
like Doyle from the Misfits.
Yeah, and the whole time I was just transfixed on this guy, just transfixed on this man, because he made this guitar look like when you buy them tiny little like guitar like replicas.
Ukulele, yeah.
I love that it's a proper metal band as well.
Ukulele. Yeah, exactly. So they're a metal band. So his settings are like all over the park, and I'm looking at it, and like to me, the fucking treble knob might as well. I was like, I'm thinking about fucking Man United winning the treble. I don't know what treble means. I'm just looking at it like, treble? What is that? And then, so in the end, I was like, we haven't even got to the tuning of the guitar yet. So I'm just like, do you know what? This is how pissed I was. I just went, do you know what? Fuck it. Leave the settings as they were. Awful decision, because not only, I don't know if you remember that band, I'm pretty sure they had more than one guitarist.
Yeah.
Probably had like 3 guitarists. I'm the only guitarist in my band, so the worst. That was the first bad decision that I made. The second bad decision that I made was, well, actually, the first bad decision I made was all the gin that I had before. The second bad decision.
I was going to say, your first bad decision started a few hours ago.
Bad decision number 2 was forgetting to change not forgetting, just giving up changing the settings on my amp. The third bad decision that I made was I looked down at my tuner, popped down on the pedal, and it was just so blurry. I couldn't even. I didn't know. I was so pissed. I didn't know where center was. Even if it was on center, it would have looked like it was like tuned down a step.
Because you were moving away from it. Your head was like.
I didn't know what was going on, but it was a mess. Then this bad decision number 3 that I made was, don't tune it then as well. So didn't change the settings on the guitar, didn't tune, and then played the gig, and it got recorded on video. And I remember I was hungover the next day, obviously, and I'm pretty sure I got made to down a dirty pint.
You did.
That everyone was chanting down it, and the pathetic little human that I am succumbed to peer pressure, down this dirty pint of Baileys and all sorts.
I remember giving money to that dirty pint.
I did like a little zombie thing after I drank it. This is on video. I finish it. I think I threw the pint glass at Ed.
It smashed.
Just
I remember that.
Glass. Just threw a glass.
Like Begbie Francis style.
Pardon?
like Begbie Francis style. Just,
bad decision number 4, throwing a glass at another human being. Not something I'm proud of. Did that. Did a little weird zombie thing to sort of like try and... It was like the Monster Mash. I tried to like balance myself. And then, yeah, finished the gig off. And then I listened back to it the next day, and it was probably one of the most atrocious things I've ever heard in my life.
That's the worst when they record it, not only playing it and like having to live the memory of that, but then someone's gone, oh, by the way, we've got the mix from the desk for that. We've sent it to you for free for playing. So no,
the thing is though, the gig itself.
It was fun.
It was probably because I was.
It was fun. But everyone had fun.
There was a good atmosphere.
It was great.
Everyone was having a good time. There was a good crowd. And it was pretty packed in there. To be honest, as well.
It was great.
But yeah, it would. To be fair, I would probably look back on that gig and think, oh, that was an amazing night. If there wasn't video recorded evidence of how shite the audio sounded, like honestly, the worst guitar sound you have ever heard in your life, and not only that, out of tune.
Sorry, there was one bad decision that night, and that was just drinking so much that just led him onto a path of death.
Again, it was my birthday though, so you know.
Well, I had a similar thing when I was playing in the Fun Day Young, and we played down at what was it, the Marquis?
Yeah,
I
remember this from a different. Yeah, I remember this.
Oh yeah, you've got a different perspective on this one, Dave.
Well,
yeah,
I at that time, it's not the same anymore, but at that time, I knew that getting stoned before a gig is a bad idea for me, because I just forget things. And we were getting ready to go on about, we were having our last pint before. And I think, were we the only band playing that night?
No, it's acoustic. There's acoustic.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah.
Who was it? Sorry.
It was the guy from Paul from Biff Tech opened up.
Yes. Oh yeah, Paul, and he did a good set actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Paul. He was the gig of the night, to be honest. Even though we were the headline.
Wasn't fucking hard, was it?
We'll tag him in this.
And yeah, so. My neighbour Simon, and he tends to always bring down a bit of the old green. He was smoking this, and he went, "Red, do you want a puff?" And I went, "Oh no, I shouldn't." And I went, "Oh, go on, I'll have a puff."
Oh, that quick.
It was so hard.
That quick.
No, I shouldn't. Go on.
Sorry, my mouth.
And then I was on stage. Everything was all right. Sound check. Yeah, and then it hits, and I just forgot every single song. I forgot my bassline for every song. And we were playing, and I just remember Ash turning to look at me like, "What are you doing?" Because at one point I just stopped playing. I just went.
Miming. When you mime playing your instrument is when you're in a bad way.
So the silence is better than what I am playing right now.
Yeah, well, obviously it was, because you're playing like a completely different chord to everyone else. You might.
I was playing different songs. I was playing different songs.
He was playing a different song, for fuck's sake.
And I just couldn't get it. I just couldn't figure it out.
I'm just letting the song breathe.
And then just letting the song breathe. Thinking about it so hard.
It's the
thinking about what's going wrong so hard that it makes it even worse.
You were trying your hardest to not be fucking up. So in your head at that moment, you're thinking, "Oh,
everyone's staring at me.
I'm playing the wrong song. I'm playing the wrong song. What song is it?" And you're like listening to everyone else, trying to figure out what the right song is, and your brain just cannot do it.
And it was just Ash's look. He just like turns to look at me with his mic in his hand, going, "What are you doing?" And I was just like,
"Don't know. Yeah, don't know."
I reached the point where I was like, "Don't care. Honestly, just you got two choices. Just carry on with this shit or kick me out of the band right now." And it carried on.
We were playing this boiler room show with this guy from America. He lived in Germany, and he was called Thomas Truax. And he's like,
that was bad.
And he's this like guy that plays on his own most of the time, but he makes his own instruments behind him. So like the backing track is made by these instruments that he makes himself. So they're set up on the stage. They're insane. Like bike wheels. You know what
I just did? I just went with incredible, crazy, and insane as one word. Then I just said it's incrane.
I love it.
That's incrane.
Incrane in the membrane.
That's incrane.
That's absolutely incrane.
Oh God, I remember that now.
So we're the first support. We're the first support, and obviously because they're instruments that have been made up, they're on the stage with you.
Yeah.
Because you can't take them down. So one's got like a big gramophone head thing. One's got like weird like wires. There's one thing that has a bike wheel with spokes, right?
Okay.
This is a quick story, by the way. And when we played, it was still on stage, not covered up. It was still just behind Fred, this one with the spokes. I remember turning around while we were playing, so like this riffy part, so I didn't have his thing. I was looking at Fred, and the top of his headstock, those tuning pegs, were caught in the spoke.
Oh no! Oh dear! Oh no!
And I remember I was trying to untangle it from this thing, going, it's like this guy's livelihood. And I was trying to untangle it, and he's on the floor, and he's looking at me going, I'm just like,
oh man! It went like it came off and it didn't break anything. But the fact that like if it broke it, that's his whole like metronome behind his stage show.
Oh no!
And it's a bike wheel, but the fact it's spokes and he got his headstock like tuning peg caught in a spoke, was just, you can't get that in any other situation.
How did you manage to do that?
No, I was turning around, I think, to talk to Ed or something, and my guitar just got stuck in it. Like, you know, it swings around. I've almost done so much damage before. I did a similar thing in Belgium at one of our last gigs. I almost knocked the sound guy out with my headstock as well. Like, it just swung past him, and he's an Irish bloke. He's like, "Fucking hell, mate."
That was the worst Irish impression I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. Brilliant.
It was not like the rest of the night. He just had it in for me. After that,
should have bought him a Guinness, mate. Sweeten them up.
Well, no.
They're expensive in Belgium.
Are they actually?
Yeah.
€8.50 a pint. €8.50 a pint. They were.
To be fair, if you go to Belgium and you drink
Guinness,
bloody Guinness,
you have to pay. You have to. Yeah, you have to be prepared to pay the price.
We should be drinking Belgian beer if you're in Belgium.
Exactly. You have to drink Belgian beer.
Yeah, but it's like 8%.
Yeah, I know. It's a bad idea, but you should still be doing it.
Yeah.
Imagine the handmade instruments you could destroy on a couple of Belgian beers. Jesus Christ.
It'd be rubble. It'd be like Robot Wars, and you're the absolutely annihilator. You eliminate everything. Craig Charles gets fired because you're just there to absolutely destroy.
What was the best robot in that called? There was like one robot that literally just kicked on all the other robots.
What's it called? I'm going to do it really. Watch this.
It's never going to come to me, but there was one robot that just every season.
Best Robot Wars robot. Razor.
Pardon?
Razor. Sir Kill-A-Lot.
Sir Kill-A-Lot. No, that was one of the. That was one of the. That was one of their ones. It might have been
Razor or Sir Kill-A-Lot. Chaos 2.
There was one that had a circular saw on it, and it literally just shat on everything.
I love how we're looking at Robot Wars.
Did you ever watch Robot Wars?
Yeah, all the time. It was before Ready Steady Cook, wasn't it?
But I wasn't as keen as you guys. Just to watch it.
I was tucked in Robot Wars. Robot. That's a different thing altogether. I'm not going to show you that.
Robot Wars.
Robot Wars. Yeah. What about you, Benjamin? Have you got any other funny stories? I'm sure you have. Hypnodisc.
Hypnodisc. That's
There he
the
is.
one.
There he is.
Yeah, I bet you didn't. I bet you weren't going to hear about Hypnodisc today.
I wouldn't even ever get there. I would never get there. You could go deep into my brain. I would never ever get to Hypnodisc. I thought it was. Did you think it was Hypnodisc?
No.
I thought it had a female name. I thought it was like Sandra. Get fucked up. Sandra. Hey, Ben.
What? Funny story?
You guys
funny story.
I need to head off to the loo.
Fine.
All right.
Welcome back to this magical time.
We're gonna kick in. We're gonna kick into a little game of Room 101.
If people remember that, if they're young enough.
Well, yeah. So, Jamie, what is Room 101? How would you describe Room 101?
It's basically just a debate. It's someone's opinion, and the other person has to, defend it or object if they think that it shouldn't be put in. Basically, if you want to put something to Room 101, it means it just gets deleted from existence. And
so, in layman's term, or in my terms, it means
layman, like the Arsenal keeper.
Yeah, it's layman. Oh,
it's good.
Okay, I'm going to sidetrack in a moment. But
he was so big. He was so German.
Well, I've never seen this game show, Room 101. So it's basically like you've got to just talk about something that one person thinks should be removed from existence.
Yeah.
And the other two need to either agree or disagree and then put their point across.
Yeah, and if they agree, then you pull the lever and it goes into Room 101.
Yeah, okay. So, Jamie, you have the lever, so you have the final say, but we're not going to let you do it until we've all decided. It needs to be a unanimous decision. If one of us says that it's not going into Room 101, then it won't go into Room 101. Okay, so who's got an idea? I have I?
You've got a green ring around your name. I have now.
So I've got two ideas.
Pick the best one.
One we touched on earlier, and one is a bit more insane. So I'm going to go with the thing that we spoke about earlier. What happened there?
What are you celebrating,
champagne bottle? I was the whole time trying to keep it really quiet and pretend like nothing was happening, and asking Margaret to open a champagne bottle.
What, you've got champagne?
Yeah. What? That's all that's left in the house.
Okay.
Sparkling wine.
I'll tell you what I want to put into Room 101. Pretentious prats that drink champagne in their house if they do. Thinking they're Billy Big Bollocks.
It's £4.5 at Sainsbury's. It's cheap as hell.
It's not champagne.
That's Lambrini, mate.
Yeah, you're drinking
Lambrini.
Okay, I want to put into Room 101 people that are drinking Lambrini and say they're drinking champagne. I want to put gigs that have been put on by promoters in which they put on like 4 different genres of bands into one show, into Room 101.
You want to completely get rid of that? That it's not allowed to.
So I don't want to, we've all been there. We've travelled up to London. We've spent money as a band to get to London or wherever it is. We've gone into a pub that's quite a cool venue. We've gone to play a gig. And like we said earlier, it's just a mishmash of different bands. And you can't get, like, if you're going to put the effort to go as a band to play to people, you want to play to people that are going to want to listen to your type of music and your band, and sometimes it will work, but we know from experience a lot of the time it doesn't work, and it's just a waste of everybody's time. Would you agree?
I agree and disagree.
Yeah, I would.
Okay,
I would say to solve your problem. I would say to solve that problem, don't get rid of the day, get rid of shitty promoters. Because to be honest, that's what it is. It works well. No, hear me out, right? It's like if guys put that together and it's like a 4-hour thing and it's got no theme to nothing, and they do that, yeah, it's a bad idea. But when you have like, let's say, you have an all-day, like an all-day mini festival, and it's put on by one guy, and it's a small venue, and he's trying to get as many people in, and he's purposely trying to do that. But you have to do it in a way that works. Then sometimes I can see it can work. Like I played in an all-day festival, and there was just different bands all the time, and I thought it worked out pretty well because you just saw different people coming through the door all the time. But it's when it's like, I think it's when it's like an evening gig where you've got three, maybe 4 bands that are playing, and it's like Friday night, just run-of-the-mill gig night, and the bands have been put together so badly. Then I think, then I agree with you. That needs to go into Room 101. But I think that's not down to the actual venue and everything. I think that's just down to the person who's organized it.
Yeah, but I didn't want to single out any promoters or people. I just think that the concept itself is a pointless concept in which bands are wasting their money, they're wasting their time. I mean, everyone wants to play a gig, don't get me wrong. I mean, right now, I'll take any gig, any time. But we've all been through it when you're like heavily gigging and you're like spending a lot of money as a band to travel places and play gigs. The last thing you want to do as, I don't know, say you're a pop punk band or you're a punk band, is you want to be put on the same bill. You turn up somewhere and you're on the same bill as a death metal band and a friggin' indie band that sounds like the Coots or something. I mean,
that's so
I've played gigs like that. What are you achieving from that? Like, all that's going to happen is those bands are going to bring the people that go to all of their gigs along with them, and then they're going to watch that band, and then they're going to leave because that's just the way that it works. Like, if a pop punk band has a following, they're going to bring all their fans that love that music, and there might be 3 or 4 people there that enjoy a band like the Coots as well, and they might be like, oh, I'll hang around, check them out on Facebook, they sound all right, I'll hang around and watch it. But apart from that, it's a completely pointless venture, and I think whack it straight into Room 101. Arguably.
I think...
I think it... Sorry, Jay, go ahead, Jamie.
As much as I hate the lineups that are so mismatched that the sound guy must be having an aneurysm, just going, like it's an acoustic guy that takes 45 seconds to sound check, and then after him some fucking 7-piece in-ears metal band. He must be literally pulling his fucking pubic hair out. But
yeah,
I understand in the theory of to get people through the door, they might be, band bookers nowadays, they're just band bookers. Like, okay, I said that wrong. Promoters are band bookers. 70% of the time, you play a show and they rely on you. They'll either go, okay, we'll put a lineup on and we'll book bands and hope people come along, and we'll book loads of different bands, maybe like 6 or 7. The more bands promoters book, you can kind of guess that they're kind of new into the field or the venue, or kind of just coming into live music, because unless it's an all-dayer, which is a completely different thing, all-dayers are usually kind of quite similar music, or you know what to expect at an all-dayer. Whereas like a band night with like 5 different bands, and like band, acoustic guy, metal band, rock band, indie band, they are very novice-like booking, and because we all want a gig, we play them, and we have to play them because that's what we do. But
yeah, I'm not turning that down, but I just think there could be a better way of doing it than that way. Yeah. Like, if we put that way into Room 101, there's always going to be tailored gigs. Like, of course, I'm not saying they all have to sound the same. They don't have to sound. At least make them slightly similar.
But then,
like, don't get me wrong.
People would argue that like people's music taste varies, like, and as much as you don't want to see an acoustic person open up your show, it also means that they don't have to use your breakables and your kit and amps. And a lot of times, that I know this is completely off track a little bit, but bands book an acoustic person or like a band that will kind of vaguely use their gear, is the fact they can have their, like, the headline band can have their whole setup on stage and they won't even touch it. And that's I know that kind of defeats the point a little bit, but sometimes that is the reason why. But when you're having a metal band, a punk band, and acoustic band, it kind of defeats the point a little bit.
I mean, you're not gonna have. It's just stupid when you got a band that's like called Decimator starting off, and they're like, "Rah," and then you've got I don't know, the Jerk-Offs, little hardcore punk band.
The Jerk-Offs.
And then like headlining is like, I don't know,
Mother's Parrot.
This Is White.
I love
band or whatever.
I love how you're coming up with names, not only just genres. You're coming up with actual the lineup.
Yeah.
The lineup poster has been written. Bands are being formed. Bands are being formed.
Where did I get Mother's Parrot from?
Are you going to disagree? Are you so you want to keep those?
No, actually,
no. The only reason I'm disagreeing right now is the whole COVID thing. Like, I would quite happily say yes to anything right now. That's why I don't want to put it into room or one. But
no. I think it also comes down to.
I'm talking about pre-pandemic when there was gigs to be had.
Normal time.
Okay, yeah, I can understand. I can understand that any sort of right now the music scene, like, yeah, but I think to cultivate a scene, there has to be some sort of, it has to be like a culture. There has to be some similarities between the people. You create like it's like it's more than just the genre of the music. It's like it's kind of like a cult. It's like a group of people. But when you're putting on these sort of pointless shows where it's like,
I think it's one of them things. I think if you're a promoter, you should be a promoter, and you should book bands. This is why I'm agreeing with you. Is you should book bands that are relative to their genre, and you can have sub-genres, and it's still quite a vast field. You don't need to go into the realms of metal and indie and shit, but I think they need to almost dress for the job you want. You know what I mean? Like, they should, if they're starting a new gig night, make sure it's just what they do. They get known for doing this one gig night, and it's for this genre, and it's all these subgenres in the theory. But you wouldn't get an acoustic person opening up unless they were like the leads, if it fitting, and like it was a lead singer of a band that, you know, would be normal.
And even if you're doing a weekly gig night, one week it can be death metal, and then the next week it can, and death metal can also have other things coming off it, like, you know, hardcore and stuff like that, and then or thrash metal, and then metal, and then the week after it can be punk, pop punk, you know, and stuff like that.
I think there's a
game.
I think it's yeah, I agree. I would put Ben's version of when you're a small band and you go and play a small, you know, like a small venue with like not a lot of people coming into the door, and mixing bands like that can go into room 101. But I think it all comes down to like band to fan ratio, because if you do that on a bigger setting, let's say at Finsbury Park, and you're putting on Queens of the Stone Age, and then you're putting on some really weird, like, you could put so many different bands on, people will be there to watch it.
It's a festival.
But even
you as a promoter has won. But wait. You as a promoter has won. Everyone's won. If the fans are happy, even if you don't like that kind of music, you can just piss off and get yourself a drink or some merch. So it works only on a big stage. That works when you mix and match like that. Like, you just have to look at Download, or like even the way Glastonbury's going, where it's like you got rap and then Miley Cyrus and then like country western, and it all mixes and matches because it's so big.
Cool.
On a small venue, it can fuck off.
Yeah, thank you.
So I think I'm in agreement to the fact that there's a time and a place for mixed genres, and it's not a place for a band night or a gig night. It's just an all-dayer or a festival situation.
Works.
People know what they're going to get. Because
it's not a Thursday night in Camden in a small pub or in Brighton upstairs in a room.
That's where it works. Ox Jam.
Everyone's there to give charity. It's going in room 1. I've got the leave it here.
By the way, we'd be very happy to Ox Jam.
Double. It's got. There'll be a sound sample over the top of that, if that's what it's called.
So I think we can agree that the shitty versions can go in room 101. Badly timed, badly promoted, just not thought out. Let's just throw a bunch of bands into a bucket and let's hope for the best.
Yeah, they're basically trying to get as many people through the door to buy as much alcohol as possible, but not give the band any alcohol, or
Yes, without actually like giving a shit about the bands as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I'm glad we. Well done, Ben. I'm glad we come to a conclusion that we all agree on that one, because sometimes it could go on for hours because one person, almost like a jury, like one person says that. One person says something that everyone doesn't agree on, then you can't do anything about it.
No, yeah. It's got to be...
It has to keep it delayed. It can't go into room 101.
So wait, does it go into room 101 or not?
That does, yeah, but it's gone. It's gone. It's dead.
Fred, mate, they don't exist anymore.
They don't exist.
We're living in a utopia.
It's been put into a pod and shot out into space.
First Do Safari gig, all day, acoustic guy opening up, indie band headlining, 2 metal bands in the middle with names you can't even pronounce by logo.
By logo.
Looks like some weeds. That's bad. I like bands like that. I'm joking.
Would you rather?
Would you rather?
Oh.
Who wants
Ben's
to play a game of Would You Rather?
Yes. Everyone says with their drinks in their hand.
Okay, so. Okay, cool.
What happened to Rumpelstiltskin? There he is.
I'm back, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Can you see me?
Yeah. Now you see me.
Okay. We're ready to start with Would You Rather?
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready to start with Would You Rather now. Part 3. Would you rather?
Okay. Okay. I'm going to kick off with, here we go. Would you rather always have bad gas or always have a really dry mouth? Kick off with that.
Have you got a few questions already?
I've got both.
All right.
I'm joking. I'm not joking.
Come on, it's easy. Use quick fire. Come on.
That's coming from the guy who has like 20-second farts.
I think I would go for a dry mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I'll tell you what you can do if you've got a dry mouth. Oh, I've got to keep drinking.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to. I don't really have a dry mouth.
Oh, that's nice and moist. Oh shit, it's dry again. Go.
This is a dry Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc. So
it probably tastes like fucking Savlon, the cheap one.
It was £5.
I think that that would have been a tougher one if it had been like constant gas or dry mouth, because then constant gas, I guess I don't mind, but when it's bad gas, that makes it sound like it's painful.
No. So I think my perception of that really bad gas is just like constant. Like as soon as you've let one out, you've just got you just it's like letting a balloon down just all the time.
I don't know. I quite enjoy farting.
I know, but imagine there's certain
yeah. If you have too much of one thing,
there's certain social
there is sometimes it gets too much.
Too much.
There's certain social situations when you can't be doing that. Like,
too much gas.
Hash back to Step Brothers when he's having the job interview and he's just like, you can't be in a job interview.
I can taste
that. He might just think that you've got a tip and it's fine. Because he'll be like, he's not going to say anything about that, is he? But if you keep shitting yourself, he's going to say something.
Yeah, you can't really get a job if you've got poo in your bum.
Anyway, we don't all have to agree. Fred likes farting, so he's going with the farts.
I'm definitely going with dry mouth.
I'm going with dry mouth. I'm just going to keep...
No, have you ever tried to sleep with a dry mouth? It's impossible. Just constantly...
Whereas if you keep farting, it's fine. You're just fucking 5 inches off the bed, but you're all right.
I bet you fart more during your sleep than you do during the day. Because you're just so relaxed. You just...
Science, bitch.
Film it, Fred. Film it. At the next podcast. You're just sleeping for 24 hours.
We've done that. Oh, this is a good one.
We've done that.
Would you rather have a time machine or a teleporter?
That's good.
So if we're going by that, the time machine, you can go back and forward in time, but you only stay in that one spot. So you can't say, oh, I want to go back to ancient Egypt because you're in bloody England in Red Hill. So essentially, you've just gone back to some shitty little field in the middle of nowhere, probably. Yeah. You know, there's now going on.
Oh, so your position in the world doesn't change, but the time.
Yeah, and obviously there ain't no planes, there
ain't
no trains. Well, that's why you've got to decide.
It's easy. Teleporter.
You want to get a teleporter. You want to stay in pandemic. You want to stay in pandemic.
Yeah, but teleport yourself to like, I don't know.
Here we go. Where's he going?
An empty pub, and you just go and pour yourself your own drinks and just sit there.
I wasn't expecting that at all.
You could go anywhere. You could go anywhere.
Like there's a water theme park, right? A water slides in that. It's empty. You just go there and you go switch it on. All to myself. Thank you.
He's literally got a teleporter just so that he can be on his own. What a sad little shit. Basically,
okay. I'm gonna go 10 years. Okay, put it the other way. I'll go 10 years back in the same spot I am right now. Do nothing. Be a bit of ground.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be in the same spot, would you?
Or you could go but listen to this, Fred. You can go back to like, what was it? When did Nirvana play Reading? 94? No, later than that.
No, not later.
You can't move from your spot. You've time travelled in the same spot.
You can bloody get on a train in the 90s.
Steam train. What happens if you have a teleporter, right? Or a time machine, sorry, a time machine.
Yeah.
What if you go too far in the future, you're dead?
What are you on about?
No, you're not dead.
You're not dead. You're in the time machine.
No, but like, you're going into the future. Like,
if you're in a time machine, you don't age. Like it's not like the end.
Well, it's impossible.
Jones when he drinks the Holy Grail water and he just goes. It's not that. You're in the time machine. You just stay you and you stroll out in 2091.
Is there coffee in a time machine?
Oh, for fuck's sake! Don't worry about.
This is a long conversation for a would you rather, isn't it?
It's starting to make me think that the only possible good answer is the time machine because
you started off with teleporting.
No, because I was under the impression that you couldn't move. You could change times, but you couldn't move from where you were.
What?
Or
so you're
a
just
teleporter.
Like a glitched sim. You're just like in The Sims, but you're glitched and you just can't move.
because that'll make more. That'll make more of a fair 50-50 would you rather question. No, it's like I'm jumping. Like asking someone, would you rather wipe your ass with your own hand or get given the best toilet paper in the world?
It's not. I would go time machine because
I'm going time machine, and I'm going to the 90s. I'm back to the 90s, and I'm going to watch Nirvana, and I'm going to watch Oasis at Main Road, and I'm going to do all these crazy, awesome things. You know, I'm going to go and see Blink when they first started touring. I'm going to do all these crazy. I'm just going to go and watch all these good bands when music was good.
I'd go to all the really good pubs and bars in London and like all cool places and Manchester.
Exactly.
The times
the 90s
the bands getting
to be alive. I love how we could go to any point in time and we're just going back to the.
Just going to like bands we like. I'd go back to this time when they first met each other in this pub. I'd go there and I'd be the guy drinking in the background.
That's true though.
But I think
anyway.
Yeah, I'll cancel my Netflix subscription and I'll go time machine.
Okay. Next. Let's have another one. Okay, easy one. This shouldn't take too long. Would you rather always have, for the rest of your life, you've always got a mullet haircut or you've always got a ponytail haircut? The rest of your life.
Ponytail.
Can you take it out of the ponytail?
No, it has to be in the ponytail the whole time. I'm going with the mullet, man. It's a conversation starter. It's a conversation starter.
Mullet.
Well, Fred's. I mean, this is far from Fred's realms of belief. Anyway, I mean, look at it.
Fred's just happy with anything.
Yeah, if he's got a pony, if he wakes up tomorrow with a fucking ponytail, it's party time for Fred. I mean,
I'm just there, like doing the old Croydon facelift.
Yeah. To be fair, I think you'd suit a ponytail.
I think you'd suit a ponytail. You you love Iron Maiden and you like drink ale, or like Iron Maiden beer, whatever that is called. Trooper.
I literally just said Trooper.
Got right.
I love it.
Okay, cool. That's a good one.
Definitely going with that.
One more. Let's find one more. Oh, okay. I'm finding a good one here. Okay, would you rather be physically stronger than most people or be able to fly?
Fly.
It's
fly because it's very vague that it says most people. So you're not stronger than everyone.
Well, the only people that care about being stronger than other people are probably 9 times out of 10 just wankers anyway, really, aren't they? Like the only thing you could do with that is like be like the best boxer in the world or be the best
wrestler.
Yeah.
That's so manly.
Yeah. Whereas flying, like if we're going on about the teleporter thing, you don't even just fly.
Fly away.
You don't even have to buy a holiday for the rest of your life. You just fucking jet off straight off the bat.
But when you think of the logistics of that, right? If you had to fly somewhere, you go, okay, look, I'm going to go and fly to New York. Well, just for a couple of nights. Imagine it all depends on like your top speed of flying.
Yeah, how fast is this flying, man?
Yeah, okay.
Fair. And then you got to think as well, like, okay, well, I've got my luggage, and if I'm gonna fly really, if I want to get there really quickly,
he's got a point.
I've got to get pretty high, and you know what happens when you get pretty high? You get.
You know, Marquez.
Yeah, exactly. You forget everything.
You forget your mates.
You get cold up there.
Flying anyway on a daily.
You get cold and there's less oxygen. It becomes really uncomfortable, and you're going, "Oh man, this is freezing my butt off." I'm flying, but
I love how he's thinking about.
Hey, this is cold. Like, is it really worth it for like a couple of days? And you have to fly with us. Imagine that. You got all your luggage. Where are you going to keep your luggage? Like,
I've got an image now of you flying over the Atlantic with those things that people carry babies around on, like they tie it around and it's just got a baby in it. It's just flying over the Atlantic with a big sort of like blanket thing tied around you with loads of fucking luggage on it, just
like the stork that brings you your baby,
or just holding a suitcase dangling down above the Atlantic.
I'm just picturing like when a bloke has to like carry 2 heavy bags, like bags when you go on holiday downstairs, and he's just like really struggling. That's how it is when you're flying. You're like, you can't strap it around your shoulder. You can't fly around like it's some sort of thing hanging off the bottom end of you. You just, how do you comfortably fly?
Bottom end of you.
And it's yourself.
Please, mate.
And you're getting really cold. You're like thousands of meters up in the air, getting really cold. You're just going, I could really do with just a drink now, but you can't. You're over the ocean. You can't stop. Where can you stop?
This chat ends in a minute.
I think you would be like Superman, so you'd fly really fucking fast. It would be over in seconds.
That'd be fine. Fred's is out of the question. If that's, I think Fred's talking about if you fly at like 2 knots.
Yeah.
No, what is your speed of flying?
That's the question you're going to ask.
Superman.
Give me the option of flying or no flying. I wouldn't ask how fast. I'd be like, yeah, okay, give me it, but take it for free. I think we've got 1 minute to sign us up. I can hear my earpiece from the producer.
All I'll say is one last thing. You always get that one nutter that's just walking around, that just like, you're talking about luggage and stuff. You always get that one mentalist that's just walking around with like a carrier bag. So I've got an image of you flying over the Atlantic with just one solitary carrier bag of your luggage.
With a can of Kestrel. A can of Kestrel or strong brew.
A can of K, a couple of boxes and a fucking toilet roll. And you're just fucking zooming over the Atlantic.
Who makes a toilet roll?
What if you did a poo?
Wherever I'm going doesn't have stuff to clean my butt with.
We're running out of time. Okay, lovely. Nice to talk to you.
It's been lovely, really. Thank you for listening. If you have listened to this far into this call, I pretty much doubt it. If you have, screenshot it, and we'll send you a demo of the song you've already listened to, or maybe a picture of us in jeans.